After 12 years of investing in property personally and running Search Property, a buyer's agency that's now secured over 2,000 properties over the last 5.5 years, I want to share with you some truths and some mistakes that are going to help you rewire your mindset around investing in general. Whether you're investing in real estate, whether you're investing in ETFs, in Bitcoin, or in your business, I think there's a lot here that's relevant. For someone like myself, I've got a three-pillared approach. I like real estate, I like collectibles, I like Bitcoin, and obviously I run my own business. Now we employ more than 50 full-time staff, so I've got a thing or two that I want to share with you guys and I think will bring you a lot of value. And the reason I'm making this video is because honestly, I wish there was a video like this when I started almost 12 years ago. Now, even 5 years ago, I started making YouTube videos, and yes, some of that content's really relevant today, but a lot of it's not. I want you to hear from someone who's been where you are and potentially where you want to be. So if you enjoy content like this and want to hear my thoughts, then definitely keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, personal development, and all things financial freedom. Now let's jump straight in. Number one, timing the market is a myth. Time in the market is what matters. Now, for so long, we've gone out there and we've had no access to data. Fast forward now, we have too much data. And so everyone becomes a data analyst and then they go out, get subscriptions, do courses, and essentially find themselves going, I've got all this data, I've got all this knowledge. Similar to when I go to uni, I have all this knowledge, but I need to put it into practice. And that's where a lot of people fall over. Now, there are some people that actually go out and absolutely kill it, which is awesome. But for the majority of people, we're not wired this way. Just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean you actually have to go and execute this yourself. A really quick and easy example is just because I know how to clean a house doesn't mean I should go and clean my own house. It's about outsourcing and looking at your most valuable asset, which is time. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side of the coin you flip to, as humans, we vastly underestimate what we can achieve in the long term, but vastly overestimate what we can achieve in the short term. I'll give you an example. You might be someone who goes, okay, I'm gonna go out there and build a massive real estate portfolio. I'm gonna work 3-4 jobs and just kill it over the next 12 months. Now you could, and you go, okay, I wanna build this portfolio and it's gonna be worth $2 million in 12 months time. But then you ask the same person and say, what's it gonna be worth in 5 years? Or how much could you build your portfolio over the next 5 years? And they go, oh, it's probably gonna be worth about 4 mil. What you realize is that that number of 2 mil is probably not going to be achieved because of their starting point in the next 12 months. But by the time they get to 5 years, they're going to be so much further ahead than what they initially started with. Thinking they're going to get to 4 mil by year 5 is vastly underestimating compounding effects, but also you as an individual developing and wanting to continue to grow. Now, in an ideal world, you're picking the bottom of the market when it comes to real estate, you're picking up the best property at the lowest price, and then you ride it all the way up, you take out equity along the way, buy in different markets, and continue, rinse and repeat. But it's not as easy as it seems, because yes, you can have some lead and lag data points which you can get online as well as pay for it. You need to be in the market constantly. And I can tell you now, even with buyer's agents all across Australia and having a team that's dedicated to this stuff, we will still not be active in certain markets because we simply cannot be in every market. So we target the markets that we believe have the most upside for growth. But even in saying that, when you're going out there and you're purchasing real estate, a lot of the time you're probably not purchasing in the best market that over the next 12 months will produce the highest growth. Now, I talk about this in my videos, that I believe in the next 12 months or 24 months, Darwin might be the best performing market, but I'm simply not purchasing anything and nor am I letting my clients do the same. And the reason for that is because longer term, I don't think the fundamentals and infrastructure are there for it to be a foundation part of our portfolio, which can continue growing over time. I don't want to see volatility. I want to see steady growth long term. That's going to give us the most options. So when it comes to timing the market, you should get in when you can. The saying is the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time is today. And it's the same thing when it comes to real estate or investing in general. A lot of people speculate around prices, but in fact, they miss out the bottom when the time comes because they just haven't wired their brain to act when times are good, so chances are they're not going to act when times are bad. Number 2 is equity and capital growth is so important, maybe more important than cash flow. Now, I've gone on for the first couple of years on the channel talking about cash flow, getting started, holding these properties, and a lot of people over time have thought that's all I do. But in reality, you can have cash flow keep you in the game, but capital growth and equity will get you out of the game. And the game is a game of life. So if you want to generate passive income and you want to retire through real estate, you're going to have to rely on a combination of cash flow and capital growth. If you don't have capital growth and you just rely on cash flow, think about it. You might make $100,000, but you're now going to get taxed on that. So how much are you actually left with? Now, if you compare that to a balanced portfolio, which maybe for the first 5 years you're negative cash flow, over the next 10 years you're neutral or positive slightly, but you're in a portfolio that continues to grow and compound. If you have a portfolio worth $3 million and it grows at 10% a year, then you're growing at 300K and there's no taxes involved. So you've got 300K versus maybe 70K. That massive upside is how people generate huge amounts of wealth. Now, there is a time where you definitely want more cash flow, and that just comes down to your own personal strategy. And it's so hard making videos here because we've got people that listen here that are in their early 20s, and you might be one of them. But then I've also got people in their early 50s also watching this channel. Two vastly different cohorts and different groups. And the strategy, believe it or not, does change depending on what age you're in and what your end goals are. For example, if you're 50 and you're looking to build wealth in real estate, you want to be self-sufficient when it comes to retirement, you're probably now looking at how do I get properties that give me more cash flow, and maybe there's one or two that give me the capital growth. And on the flip side, if you're in your 20s and you know your earning potential is going to increase, you might go, actually, I can afford to be negative cash flow by X amount every single week. I want growth. And over the next 10, 20, 30 years, that's going to keep compounding. And when the time comes for me to just sell out, you can just sell all of your properties, have the money, sit in a bank account and earn 3 or 4%. So I will go on record to say you need both. If your portfolio isn't giving you both, you actually haven't optimized for the best portfolio to get you to retirement. Number 3, the best properties are most likely pretty ugly. Now, a lot of people, when we present properties, whether it's my buyer's agency or I see property for myself, I remember in the initial days, I would see these properties and go, why would anyone want to buy this? Why would anyone want to live here? And think about all the maintenance issues that I would have. Instead, I can look at one of the fancy brochures, look at something new, something that really excites me based on artist impressions. I go and buy that because in my perspective, that's going to have less maintenance. But believe me, I've gone down the path of building and having something that's brand new versus having a property that's been 80 or 90 years old. And I can tell you that it really just comes down to how you buy. Because I still had issues with the brand new property, and with the older property, I had far less that I had to spend in the first 5 years of owning it. So you need to understand that when you purchase, you need to purchase well, firstly, and secondly, you need to understand why there's a difference. The best performing properties in my own portfolio have been the really ugly ones. And I get it, it's so hard to overcome that fear, especially if it's your first or second property. And that's why some people opt to go for something that's less maintenance, but doesn't perform as well. Because it might be that first property that gets you in the game and it builds your confidence to then get into the next one. I'm definitely not advocating for something brand new, especially if you do not know what a registration date is, what a sunset clause is, and if you're going out and buying this from a developer or buying it from a third-party marketing agency that calls themselves a buyer's agent, then you're definitely in some trouble. As an investor, I personally focus on the numbers. I would allocate funds to, emergency funds as well as anything that may come up in terms of maintenance and some upgrades that I would want to make. But that also is an opportunity in itself. If I have something brand new, I can't really do anything to it. But if I have something that, maybe needs some paint, maybe can do with a kitchen and bathroom upgrade in say 5 or 6 years time, I can now generate my own equity. And that could be the difference from me having enough equity to purchase again versus not doing anything at all. I think a combination of properties that are less hands-on, as well as some that you have development opportunity, or at least a renovation opportunity, I think is the best way to approach it. Having a balanced portfolio means you only have to do that with 1 or 2 properties. Equally, you're not going out and sabotaging your entire portfolio because you wanted something that looked really nice. Number 4 is buy with logic, avoid emotions at all cost. Now, believe me, I understand why you go out there and purchase a property and say, I'm gonna live in here. I get the benefits of no capital gains tax because it's my principal place of residence. I might get some benefits as well as a first home buyer, and it's not my forever home. So I'm gonna go out there and purchase a new home later, and then this one will become an investment property, or maybe I just sell it. And to me, that is not the most efficient way, especially now with where prices are at. What you want to be focusing on is, hey, I want to buy with logic. I want to buy purely on numbers. And I can tell you now, hand on heart, that if I had to go out there, buy a property that I was going to live in, you better believe I'm going to have some emotions attached to it. I'm not buying that property to see all this growth. A lot of Australians focus on, hey, if I buy my own house and I get some growth, that's fantastic because real estate always goes up. But what if it doesn't? What if your property doesn't go up? Maybe you overpaid for it because you bought with some emotion. And then you go, oh, well, I'm actually trying to build wealth. You can either do one or the other. And I personally believe that if you're going to go out there and build wealth in real estate, do it with logic. Don't focus on the emotions. When it comes time for the emotions to build your dream house or buy your dream house, go for gold. You can put the craziest shit in your house, but don't expect for it to go up in price. What you want to do is treat it like a business. You go out, build with logic this portfolio that's your machine in the background, continues growing wealth, and then when the time comes to go and buy your own home, get as emotional as you like. Real estate is a people's game more than a numbers game. And what I mean by this is I would not be in the position I'm in if I didn't come into contact with the people I know now. So over that period of the last 12 years of me investing as a novice 21-year-old person, going out there and saying, oh, I should buy real estate, every single year as I've been learning and developing my knowledge, I've been meeting different people. And I've gone out there and built out my team. And that is so important. I talk about it a lot, and I don't know if people are getting this right now. But if you haven't got a team yet, you are significantly disadvantaged. If we're thinking about a sports analogy, you've gone out there and you've got a really good team with good coaches, you've got good staff in the front, you've got good sponsorship, partnership managers getting you the sponsorship money to then go and upgrade your facilities. You've got a well-oiled machine that allows you to be successful. Not only that, but you're gonna say, I can now go and ask the sponsorships manager to see what's happening in terms of feedback with on the ground and in the community versus me trying to coach the team as well as manage the front end of the business. You're gonna absolutely fail. So that's the same way I look at real estate. I go out there and say, okay, I don't know every clause in the contract and there's always new surprises, and believe me, you're always learning something new. So I would go out and say, okay, I need a conveyancer or a solicitor to take care of all of that for me. When it comes to finance, I don't know what the policies are every day. They change constantly. Sometimes they flip-flop, so they'll introduce something and then take it out the next week. It's very wild, that world. And there's so many different lenders. So I'm gonna go out there and rely on the best in the business. And the best in the business is Refine Loans. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box below. So if you're a beginner or someone who's got a portfolio of 10 plus properties, these guys know what they're talking about. They know how to structure up things when you're borrowing in trusts. If you're an expat, they know what to look out for. And when we're on the topic of unlimited borrowing capacity and trusts, this video is a must watch. To execute that, you'll definitely need the Refine Loans team. So you can go ahead and book a call down below. And finally, a delay will cost you more than the mistake you make. Now, getting into the property market, getting into investing in general, you learn a few hard truths. Some people get really lucky on their first property and well done. But some people need to go and get burnt for them to understand and learn from their mistakes. I'll use my example when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin investing. When I went in there, I said, oh, well, everyone's making money in 2018. Let me go and invest in XRP and a few of these other coins, and hopefully I'm gonna be really rich. My portfolio went down by 50% over the next 3 months, and I learned a hard truth. It was, I need to get educated, but also if I'm not gonna get educated, I need to go and rely on the right people to get the right information. Equally, if I can move faster with someone's help, that's gonna get me even further along. I paid for a lot of masterminds, I paid for a lot of learning and education to actually get started. But what ultimately got me there was actually relying and outsourcing it to someone else to go, hey, what advice do you have so I can go and do it? And that's the same thing when it comes to real estate. Now when purchasing property, I completely outsource it to Search Property. So that's the buyer's agency I've founded, but they take care of everything. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box below. It's for a free call. You can look at your strategy, figure out what exactly the next move looks like, and what does it look like if you were to outsource it. On average, it takes anywhere between 6 and 12 months for someone to buy a property. So imagine how much the market moves in that time. So if you simply go, okay, if it's gonna cost me $20,000 to go out, outsource it, and hands-off approach with this, and I'm trusting professionals with this, that means I'm now getting into the market a lot sooner than if I was getting into a market that's gone up by 10%, which is $60,000 to $70,000. This is where it really counts. And that too, you're gonna have to do on your own. So imagine the stress and the mistakes you could potentially make. There's a lot to unpack when you're building businesses, working a full-time job, trying to manage families, and then on top of that, try and build your wealth for the future while trying to still remain present. I'm sure there's a lot of learnings you guys have as well. So comment down below some of your learnings. And again, I've got links below to someone who can help you get started on this journey. And I promise you, when I started almost 12 years ago, if someone told me I'd be in this position with my real estate portfolio, I would have said, yeah, good chat. And it all comes down to timing and perspective. You can vastly underestimate what you can achieve in the long term. You need to be fast with your hands in the micro and then be patient on the macro. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, smash that subscribe button and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks guys.